Hello, welcome to The Revealing. I'm your host, Pavarotti, here to discuss the Idaho4 case. As a disclaimer, this channel's for entertainment purposes. These are my opinions, not here to slander anyone. Let's get started. And I apologize for doing this video as I'm riding. I know that kind of drives some of you nuts, but time is a factor these days. The reason I wanted to do this video, I want to send this one out to the Riot Podcast. I've mentioned them in the past, I've been watching them for a while, I enjoy their content. And Brendan, one of the hosts on the show, has 15 years experience in information technology. Maybe I'm not explaining his experience exactly correctly, so you can check in with him to get all the details on that, but I have a question for you, Brendan, that I need answered, if you don't mind, because technology is not my strong point. Paying attention to details is. And I'm going to show you a clip from a court hearing back in February, and I did a video on this, but the specific part of the hearing was discussing the alibi that was going to be released and how they were formulating that alibi and making an argument with the judge on specifics they needed to complete the alibi and the reason why they needed more time to complete that alibi. So watch this short clip from that court hearing, and then I will formulate my question to you.
Court vacated all of the deadlines, including the alibi deadline. That wasn't carved out as one that was still held through when the court vacated the rest of its scheduling order. So I don't think that we're foreclosed from that. The court also has the ability to give an extension besides the limited time by statute. In this case, it's more than Bryan was just driving around. We have let the state and the court know that we expect that will be supported by expert testimony and by cross-examination of the state's experts. I need their full cast report and the rest of the discovery related to that before I can say more about that. So to tie me to a deadline when I don't have the rest of the discovery that I've been waiting for that would relate to that will mean that I will be back asking the court to reopen it. My expert can't finish until I get the rest of the discovery as well.
And the discovery you're talking about is a video of the car?
No, I am.
What do you?
So the video that we talk about is one that I think the state's going to use in its case that I don't have full video on, that I'm not talking about any video of Bryan's car. When I'm talking about an alibi defense, unless there's video that shows it elsewhere that I haven't gotten to yet, which may be possible given the fact that there's a lot I haven't seen yet. What I'm talking about, though, is the cast report, the drive testing information.
Cast report meaning the identification of the particular car.
That is the cell tower information.
I'm with you.
So what that is going to show and what the drive testing data is going to show and what other reports related to that are going to be things that my expert needs to finish our investigation and things that I need to formulate my cross-examination against the state's expert. So when I'm telling you that I'm going to do those things in alibi, I can't tell you more than that right now, but that's how we're going to support Bryan's alibi, that he was out driving that night.
Okay, so you're saying that you have not received the cell tower reports?
I have some data, some cell tower data, some phone record data. I have a draft of a cast report. The most recent information I have cast is the FBI doing their work. The most recent information I have is that on March 31st, they expect for that report to be done through the peer review process. So I may get it a month from now. I need to get it to my expert to digest. There's materials that support their report that I don't have full disclosure of. And the state's aware of it. I think they're working on it, and maybe they're on that drive that I'll pick up today, but I haven't had them yet.
So you expect to get that in mid-March?
I expect to get their report after March 31st, after it's done. The supporting data, I'm not sure when it's coming. They tell me it's coming.
Okay, I'm gonna kick it back to the state.
Your Honor, I guess I'm a little confused because if
I obviously am too. So,
okay, I'm confused because if the defendant's alibi is that he was out driving around that night, I'm not sure what additional.
Okay, so in that hearing, they discussed that the defense had some of the information, some data on the cell phone towers and the cell phone itself, and they were needing the rest of the data from the cached report. And you'll notice that she said that she was going to receive the rest of that data after March 31st. Now, I haven't seen any specific motions or arguments that would suggest that they did not receive the cached report. So, and I know that's what a lot of people have suggested, is they haven't got the cached report yet. Based on that, I think she does have the rest of the cached report. I think the information that she suggested that she was going to need is other information outside of the cached report. And I may be wrong on that, but here's my question, because I've gone through the prosecution's list of discovery items that will be made available to the defense team, and the defendant's cell phone is not listed in those discovery items. And I haven't seen any specific motions to compel to get access to the actual cell phone. So I would have to assume that the expert has not actually had access to the physical cell phone to go through and prepare his data. And if that's the case, this is my question to you, Brendan. If that is the case, is the defendant's expert relying on the information gathered by the investigation solely to put together all of his information? So in other words, instead of him doing an independent study, is he having to take the prosecution's investigation, all of their data, and do an independent analysis on that, if that makes sense? So if that's the case, when it all pans out, it'll be an expert versus expert type scenario. You also heard in that court hearing, and it was kind of a side comment by Ann Taylor, she said, unless, Judge, we find video that shows the defendant's car somewhere else, and I just haven't seen it yet because I haven't received all of that discovery. And it's my thoughts that in the actual alibi statement, when they talk about the exculpatory evidence that may not have been maintained or is being withheld, it's that exact video that she's referring to there. But I may be wrong. Again, my question to you is, have you seen anything that indicates that he had actual access to the cell phone, or is he simply using the data from the investigation that, you know, the law enforcement, FBI used to come up with their data to arrest Mr. Kohberger? Is he looking at the same data and coming up with his report, or has he actually looked at independent data? So hopefully you don't mind addressing that question. And thank you if you do. If you don't, I understand. You're busy. Y'all are doing good. Folks, please, at this point, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please post your comments, post your criticisms. And as always, Pavarotti is out.